Russian man like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just the brother for the rapture. I hang glide, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a garden and start killing. It's manifesting. The God's work like appliances, dealing in my sleep like a lot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generations discussion. And today, we're going to be diving into one of the major reveals that we got in the latest Boruto manga chapter, Boruto Chapter 71. So, buried beneath all that hype, which was the Code versus Damon battle, there was something bigger than I think a lot of people realize, which is that we got Amado's full name, and there's both an in-universe connection to his name as well as a mythology connection, which as longtime viewers, you guys know that where there's folklore and there's mythology, in particular Asian folklore and mythology, I'm extremely likely to discuss it in a video. However, in this case, not only is the mythology fascinating for me, but looking at it draws a clear line to Amado's potential motives, and it links to something he said earlier in the manga. So in the last chapter, we were told that Amado's full name is Amado Sanzu, and we'll start the in-universe explanation behind the name, which I think is the less likely, before we get into the juicy stuff, i.e. the mythology. So in universe, the name Sanzu stands out because we know that the Sanzu plains exist in the land of Earth, meaning Amado might have a connection to the land of Earth, but those plains are the training ground that is used in the land of Earth. It's where Boruto and the former Tsuchikage and Inoki were trapped in the Mitsuki desertion arc. The plains are protected by a powerful barrier that keeps out anyone from leaving, or it prevents people from using jutsu inside the barrier, while the people inside of it find their heartstone. That's worth noting because we know Inoki used technology that involved a car outer, the old man scientist who helped him create the fabrications, and the reason why Inoki did this is he lost his grandson in an earlier conflict. Though the timeline for when this happened isn't set, given Amado's name, it's not crazy to think that he might be from the Stone Village, and depending on when Inoki lost his grandson, Amado could have lost his daughter, which we now know happened 12 years ago, which is a reminder, 12 years ago in the timeline is not Naruto the last. Based on where we are in the timeline right now, that would actually be 14 years ago. Now, that's all fine, the possible Stone Village connection, but the mythology connection is where we get our strongest bits of evidence that everything Amado is doing is connected to his daughter, who he said it died 12 years ago. So in my video where I discuss Amado's purpose for wanting Kawaki's karma, which is titled Naruto and Boruto's Major Miscalculation, Amado's plan for Kawaki's karma, I discussed how Kawaki's karma might be the key to bringing back Amado's daughter. However, the mythology behind Amado's surname makes me think that this is 100% on the money now, and I'll explain it to you how it connects to the mythology behind Amado's name and why Kishimoto is mixing in mythologies as this is being done, which isn't uncommon for Kishimoto as a writer. So in reference to the mythology, we have to go to Buddhist mythology in order to understand this. So in Buddhist mythology, you have the Sanzu no Kawa, which is the river of three crossings. Now, some of you guys might think about Greek mythology where you had the Styx River, but given Masashi Kishimoto only uses Asian folklore mythology, we're only going to be sticking to the Asian version of this myth. So in Asian mythology, in particular Japanese and Indian, respectfully, you have the Sanzo no Kawa and you have the Sai no Kawara, and they aren't too off from each other in terms of purpose, with the large difference being that the former is Japanese and the latter is Indian. It's basically saying that the concept of the riverbed of dead exists, which is the boundary by which souls of children who died too early cross over into the realm of the dead. So you have Jizu, who helps the souls who died too early to avoid the demons of the underworld. This is essentially known as children's limbo. Children do penance here. They answer questions asked of them by Jizu. Some of the beings who exist in this plane alongside Jizu are the 10 judges of hell, better known as the 10 kings of hell. They review all the behavior of the souls from when they were alive, and then they send the souls back into one of the 6 forms of transmigration. The reason why this is so important is that this is another clear in-your-face sign that Masashi Kishimoto is writing, because Kishimoto likes to reference Samsara, which the Naruto manga is literally littered with references to Samsara all throughout the 72 volumes, most famously the powers of the rinnegan, which is why you hear me say so much. To gain a better understanding of what Kishimoto does as a writer, you really need to brush up on Asian folklore and mythology. So when a child dies, they have to pass through the Sanzo no Kawa, which lies between the first and the second judge of hell. At the river's edge, the soul is advised by the hag of hell, Datsuba, to make a pile of pebbles on which to climb to paradise. But before they can ever have the piles reach any significant height, the demons of the underworld knock it down, repeating the process all over again. The innocent are allowed to cross the river safely with Jizu. The guilty swim across the deep waters of the river, and the extremely guilty swim across the rapids. And when they meet Datsuba again, their skin is ripped off of their body if they don't have any clothes left. Amado stated that his daughter died 12 years ago, something that he clearly had a sore spot for because it's one of the few times we've ever seen him get personal throughout the series. Amado, he could be lying, he's lied a lot, but Jigen previously told him he would grant Amado's wish, which is where we're gonna have to start mixing mythologies, which again, Masashi Kishimoto has a penchant for doing so. As I stated in the earlier video that I referenced, I believe Amado's trying to use Kawaki's karma as a way to reconnect with or revive his daughter, largely due to the Ishin Boshi myth, the myth of the one-inch man, which inspired Ishiki's powers and several parts of his design, including the wish-granting mallet, which you can actually see on Ishiki's body and clothes. We don't know how his daughter died, but it's not crazy to think that however she died, it might be connected to the karma, which could even be the possibility of her being forced by Jigen to be one of his first failed test subjects for transferring Ishiki's karma. It would also explain why Amado stayed around as long as he did, because losing a child would make him want to learn more about the alien tech that killed his daughter and look for a way to reverse it. It's not the first time we've had life for life jutsu in existence in Naruto. We have Chiyo's soul transference and we have the Rinne rebirth, which for the 100th time does kill the user when it's used. It is not tied to chakra levels. Nagato was incorrect. Obito told Nagato a flat out lie, which I've proven with statements from the manga as well as the author's own writing in prior videos, which I will leave linked in the description box. There's something absolutely here. This was not dropped in the manga by mistake here. The only question is what price will be paid if this does pan out to be true. It's not really a mistake that we have Amado's name being referenced to something linked to children in mythology, essentially children's limbo when you think about it. And Amado said that he lost a daughter 12 years ago, which means that she could have potentially been young of age as well. And he says he needs Kawaki for his own personal reasons. The Ishin Boshi myth specifically talks about the fact that Ishin Boshi is able to grant wishes. Jigen did have that line in there saying that he would grant Amado's wishes. There's too many breadcrumbs on here. What's likely going to happen is there's going to be some mixing and matching done. However, my question for you guys is, does this work for you as motivation for Amado? While you think that over, consider watching the other videos you're seeing on the screen right now.